biology chapter of PUC first year class. We'll go with the topic photosynthesis in higher plants of PUC first year, the 13th chapter, photosynthesis in higher plants. In physiology of plants, there are 5 chapters, but the detailed chapters that are being deleted are transporting plants and mineral nutrition. Already we have dealt with the plant growth and development. So the remaining topics of the physiology of the plants are photosynthesis in higher plants and respiration in higher plants. So we'll begin with the topic of photosynthesis in higher plants. So we'll start with the definition of photosynthesis. You might have learned in the lower section what is photosynthesis. It is a very important process by which helps in sustaining the life. The life itself is because of the plants. The plants are said to be autotrophic, where they are able to prepare their own food. This unique feature of process of photosynthesis is sustaining the life on the earth. It is the only process by which the living organisms or the heterotrophics are completely dependent on the plants. And this capacity of absorbing the solar energy, the light, and using that light for preparation of food. So if you go with the definition of photosynthesis, it is one of a physiological process that is present in the plants where they trap the light, and they have an important component called as chlorophyll. With the trapping of the light, where there is a chemical reaction between carbon dioxide and water that is widely used in the preparation of a carbohydrate and a glucose, or glucose which is being stored in the form of starch with the release of water and oxygen. So it is one of a very important process. So we'll go with the definition of photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Define photosynthesis. What is the definition of photosynthesis? It is a process of synthesis of carbohydrates due to chemical reaction between carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light and chlorophyll. The definition of photosynthesis is it is a process of synthesis of carbohydrate, that is the glucose, where a chemical reaction occurs between carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light and chlorophyll. If you go with the equation, or there is an equation for this photosynthesis where 6 molecules of carbon dioxide reacts with 12 molecules of water in the presence of light and chlorophyll to form glucose with the release of presence of oxygen. If you are perfect with the equation, you can clearly define. It is also a physico-chemical process where synthesis of carbohydrates occurs in the presence of light. Another definition for photosynthesis is it's a physico-chemical process where synthesis of carbohydrates occurs or the light energy is used for the synthesis of a carbohydrate, that is the glucose. Or you can go for this definition which can be asked for 2 marks. Define photosynthesis. You have to define the photosynthesis and write its equation. So it is a process. It is a process where 6 molecules of carbon dioxide. A chemical reaction occurs between carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light and chlorophyll to form a glucose. It forms a glucose, a carbohydrate component, with the release of 6 molecules of water and 6 molecules of oxygen. A very important component for the sustaining of the life or existence of the life. Because of photosynthesis, the plants are said to be as autotrophic. Regarded as autotrophic, where they trap this solar energy. The solar energy is being trapped or the light is being trapped with the help of chlorophyll molecule, and the 2 simple components, that is carbon dioxide and water, using these 2 simple components, it is synthesizing the food, that is the glucose, and also releases the oxygen. So if you take this photosynthesis process, it is a very unique process. It is a very unique process that is responsible for the existence of the life. So here, as they have the capacity or the ability to absorb the light energy and use it for the process of photosynthesis. Or in simple words, we can say that the plants can prepare their own food, and we animals we are regarded as heterotrophic. Who depend on plants for the food. Based on the food consumed, the form of food that is being consumed, the animals are being classified as herbivorous, carnivorous. Again, in carnivorous, there are primary carnivorous, secondary carnivorous and tertiary carnivorous. Now, if you take the food web, let it be any form of food web, the first consumers are always the herbivorous plants, while the plants are said to be the producers. They are the producers which have the capacity to produce their food. So indirectly, all the animals depend on plants for food. So we are heterotrophic. All animals are heterotrophic, while the plants are said to be autotrophic. So this autotrophic nature is because of absorbing the light energy and converting it into potential energy, or the solar energy is converted into potential energy. Earth is the only living planet. It is said to be as a green planet also, as a blue planet also, and even a live planet or a living planet, where it is made up of atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. Atmosphere, the earth has its own atmosphere with different forms of gases. In that, oxygen is the main component which is required for the animals. We completely depend on plants for food, shelter and also air, and the most important component is the air, that is oxygen. So this photosynthesis releases the oxygen, which is helping for the animals to survive. The existence of life is because of the process of photosynthesis. So in the atmosphere there are different forms of gases. In that gas, in that air, the plants use the carbon dioxide for the process of photosynthesis. While then hydrosphere, that is, it is present in the land. The water is being lodged in the sediments of the earth, or the water is being stored in as rivers, lakes, or any other by artificial source by which the water is being used up. And the atmosphere, lithosphere, and lithosphere is the land itself has many mineral nutrients where the plants, the roots absorb these mineral nutrients and it's helping in the growth and development of the plants. Then if you come for a biosphere where the life exists. Earth is also a biosphere. Bio means life, where there is existence of life. With these all characteristic features, that is the unique feature of the earth, it is regarded as a living planet. In that, the main components are the plants. Yes, in the plants, let it be any form. Even zooplanktons, which are floating on the surface of water, also have a unique role in release of oxygen or increasing the amount of oxygen in the atmosphere. Let it be unicellular or microscopic, the chlamydomonas or volvox or any form of algae or the bacteriophytes, these are responsible. They are all autotrophic and are producing the food. They are synthesizing the food not only for themselves, which is also used for heterotrophic animals also, in that with the release of oxygen. So once again, what is the definition of photosynthesis? It is a physico-chemical reaction with the synthesis of carbohydrates by using the solar energy or the light energy. Or in simple manner, we can define the photosynthesis as synthesis of carbohydrates due to the chemical reaction between carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light and chlorophyll. So this is the equation of the photosynthesis, where 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 12 molecules of water in the presence of light and chlorophyll synthesizes the glucose with the release of water and oxygen. Oxygen is being released. So in the next, with the study of photosynthesis, when different scientists while working on this process of photosynthesis, they formulated some more chemical reactions that can be involved in the process of photosynthesis, or the different names that is being given to this photosynthesis. It is also called as carbon assimilation process. The other processes by which the photosynthesis is known is carbon assimilation process. In this, the carbon dioxide is fixed, and this carbon dioxide is used. It is used for the formation of glucose. Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is used, or we can say carbon dioxide is fixed and used in the synthesis of carbohydrates. Because of this, it is also called as carbon assimilation process, where carbon dioxide is fixed. It is absorbed from the atmosphere and it is used in the synthesis of carbohydrates. Then it is also known as chemical oxidation and reduction process. It is also called as chemical oxidation and reduction process, where water molecules get oxidized to form oxygen. The water molecules get oxidized to form oxygen, and carbon dioxide is reduced to form carbohydrate. Photosynthesis is known as chemical oxidation and reduction process. Why? Because the water molecules get oxidized with the release of oxygen. There is release of oxygen, while the carbon dioxide is being reduced or fixed to form a carbohydrate. And it is also known as physico-chemical process. Physico-chemical process, because it converts the solar energy into potential energy, as it converts the light energy into potential energy. The solar, this is the only process where the light is being used. No complex components are being required for the process of photosynthesis, though the properties and the functions involved in the processes are complex, but very simple components are being used in the process of photosynthesis, that is carbon dioxide and water, light and chlorophyll with release of carbohydrates. So it is the process where the solar energy is being trapped, the light is being trapped, and that light is being activating the chlorophyll molecules which contain the pigments. They are the pigment molecules. With that pigment molecules, the stored energy, that is the solar energy, or the solar energy is being converted into the stored energy in the form of potential energy. So it is also called as physico-chemical process. So it is designated by various processes, various names. So in that, I will just repeat it once again. It is carbon assimilation process. Why it is called as carbon assimilation process? Because carbon dioxide is fixed or it is used in the synthesis of carbohydrates. It is also called as chemical oxidation and reduction process, where the water molecules are oxidized to form oxygen and the carbon dioxide is reduced to form the carbohydrates. And it is also called as physico-chemical process, where the solar energy is converted into potential energy. Then we will go with the significance. What are the significance or importance of photosynthesis? What are the significance or what is the importance of photosynthesis? What are the significance of photosynthesis? In that, first is the plants are the lungs of the nature and they help in purifying the air. The place or the area containing more number of plants is said to be as fresh, with the fresh air is said to be as more pleasant and beautify and also enhance the beautiness of the nature. This photosynthesis have made the plant to absorb the carbon dioxide and convert this carbon dioxide into oxygen, where it is this oxygen, the more amount of oxygen itself purifies the air. So if the forest areas, where if you visit any of the forest area, the mind get refreshed because there are the plants. Those plants have to convert or they convert the impure air or the amount of air, purify the air. So here the plants, photosynthesis have made the plants to purify the air. As the lungs in our body, there are lungs in the body. These lungs also, when we exhale and inhale, yes, they convert the oxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood into oxygenated blood, and they release the oxygen to each and every part of the body through red blood cells. Yes, so as the lungs in the human beings or in the animals help to differentiate the impure and the pure air, the plants in the nature are regarded as the lungs of the nature. These plants, with that unique property, specific property of absorbing carbon dioxide or the harmful gases, they help in purifying the air. Or we can say that as the number of plants are being reduced, the growth of plants is being reduced, there are there is deforestations, we have lost the forest. As there is loss of forest, the pollution and other related problems are coordinated with the loss of the plants. There is shortage of water supply, there is no proper rains, and even it is leading to high pollution in some of the metropolitan cities. But these all problems can be solved or can be reduced by growing more number of plants. Or indirectly, we can say that this process of photosynthesis is making to purify the air. That is, they make the plants to be the lungs of the nature and purify the air. Then, in that, for example, there are in the home itself, yes, some plants are being grown for purification of air. For example, the show plants or the ornamental plants like areca palm and the aloe vera. Aloe vera already it is being grown in the home. It helps in purifying the air as a home garden. So there are certain plants that can be grown in plants which help to remove the harmful gases. Or the simple example is money plant itself, which does not require any soil or anything, just we can grow with the source of light near a window and in a water bottle, transparent water bottle for its growth. So that is also a very simple processing which can be followed in each and every room, which helps in purification of the air. This simple plant, it's a climber, and this climber also help in purifying the air. So photosynthesis have made the plants as the lungs of the nature and help in purifying the air. And as I said, the plants are autotrophic. So they are regarded as donors of food. Plants are autotrophic, so they are regarded as the donors of the food. So if you take any of the food chain, let it be grass, then grasshopper, or frog, then snake, then eagle, grass, cow, or a tiger, or grass, any of the then grass, or a sheep, then in all these food chain, the grass, the plants are the producers which prepare their own food, while the grasshoppers, cow and the sheep, they are the herbivores which depend on grass, while we can go with the first primary consumers, second consumers and tertiary consumers which depend on each other for the food, forming the food web. So in all these, the grass in the form of leaf, or in the form of vegetables, or in the form of fruits, or any part of a plant where the food is being stored. We eat the carrot, we eat the spinach, we eat the fruits, we consume even some flowers or the leaves for the vegetables, and we prepare in the preparation of vegetables. In all this, the plants are preparing their own food, and we all consumers, let it be the carnivorous. The carnivorous depend on the plants for the food. For this reason, the plants are regarded as the donors of the food. They provide food for the animals. So plants are said to be autotrophic and are regarded as the donors of the food. They prepare the food, not only prepare the food, store the food in the roots, in the stem, in the leaves, or develop fruits which is used by other animals. So these plants are known as the donors of the food. They are regarded as the donors of the food. And photosynthesis is basic process for existence of life on earth. This is the only process where there is existence of life on earth. Already I said that earth has atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, these with all these water, soil and air. Yes, in that the main component is the light, that is the solar energy. Yes, using this energy it is preparing the food. So this preparation of food and supplying the food to others is one of the very unique property of the nature or the whole world that depends. So it is one of the basic process, very important and basic process which is responsible for the existence of life on earth. Then it is a process, it is one of the process where the plants uses the solar energy and convert to potential energy. Photosynthesis is the process where it uses the solar energy and converts to potential energy, and it is a connecting link between plants and animals. There are biotic factors and abiotic factors. Biotic factors are plants and animals. Abiotic factors are air, water and soil. So it is connecting the plants and animals. With a simple example, plants release oxygen consumed by animals. Animals release carbon dioxide which is again consumed by the plants. There is interdependence between the plants and the animals. Apart from this oxygen, they provide food and shelter. They also provide the food and shelter to the animals, and the animals also release the components in the form of carbon dioxide. Yes, or after the death of the animals, when the body get decomposed, the decomposed body releases the mineral nutrients which is absorbed by the plants. So both biotic factors, plants and animals, are interdependent with each other, which also go in synchronization with the abiotic factors, air, soil and water. Yes, so this photosynthesis connects the biotic factors, that is plants and the animals, with abiotic components, air, water and oxygen. So these are some of the significance or importance of photosynthesis. If you read the paragraph of the importance, this are being made in the form of points to simplify or to make you all understand clearly. It is a simplified form of points. In the form of points. So here, what are the significance, or once again we will go with the importance, that is the plants are known as the lungs of the nature and purify the air. Photosynthesis have the capacity to absorb carbon dioxide, a harmful component, air component, and convert it into oxygen as a useful component for different oxidation process that is required for the animals. So the plants are the lungs of the nature and purify the air, while the plants are autotrophic and regarded as donors of the food. They trap the light and for the preparation of food. The food prepared by them is used by the heterotrophic animals, that is the consumers directly consume the plants. Then photosynthesis is the basic process for the existence of life on earth. This is the only process till the earth is said to be as a living planet because of the process of photosynthesis. And this is a process where the plant uses the solar energy, and this solar energy is converted into potential energy, and it is a connecting link between the plants and the animals. Not only connects biotic with biotic factors, plants and animals, but also connects the interaction between the biotic and abiotic factors. So these are some of the significance of photosynthesis. Now, what are the requirements or the raw materials of photosynthesis? What are the raw materials required for photosynthesis? We'll go with the equation once again, where carbon dioxide and water in the presence of light, chlorophyll synthesizes glucose with formation of water and oxygen. First component is carbon dioxide. The first component is carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is present in the form of air in the atmosphere as an external source. Animals get oxygen through the atmosphere. We get oxygen through the air that is present in the atmosphere. Similarly, carbon dioxide in the form of air is present in the atmosphere as an external source. Why? It is also released by mitochondria during electron transport process, which is in the form of internal source. So mitochondria, which are called as powerhouse of the cell, there is synthesis of ATP molecules. Along with the synthesis of ATP molecules, it also synthesizes carbon dioxide, but with the process called as electron transport system internally in the cells. So carbon dioxide is also released internally in the cells during the process of respiration or aerobic respiration, where it is in the form of an internal source. As carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere as external source, in the mitochondria, carbon dioxide is being released as an internal source. Then the second component, carbon dioxide over second component is water. Where the water is lodged in the earth surface, the plants produces the roots. These roots helps in absorption of water. As there is roots, the roots penetrate deep into the soil, producing the primary roots and the secondary roots. In dicots, it is taproot system. In monocots, it is fibrous root system. Though in but have the roots. These roots, that is the roots of the plants, help in absorption of water, that is the absorption. Or if it is the plants are being grown as an agricultural practice, the water is being stored or used from the rivers, ponds, or the natural form is in the rain. Yes, we do not water the plants in the ground, but still we can see that even the uncultivated lands also develop the plants because of the source of water. So the water that is present as in the ground surface of the earth is absorbed by the roots, which helps in the process of photosynthesis. So water is absorbed by the roots and used in the process. Right, the third component is the light. The third component is the light, where the solar radiation. There is existence of solar radiation. Now, if you take solar radiation, the solar radiation includes cosmic rays, gamma rays, X-rays, UV rays, infrared rays and radio waves. Yes, so the solar radiation includes the various rays. In that, the visible light spectrum is used for the process of photosynthesis. There are different radiations of the earth, solar radiations. In that, the visible light spectrum is used for the process of photosynthesis, and the visible light, which has the wavelength of 360 nm to 360 nm to 760 nm is used for the process of photosynthesis. In the visible light spectrum, the wavelength of light of 360 nm to 760 nm is used for the process of photosynthesis, where it includes the 7 colors, the rainbow colors, that is Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. In that, violet, blue and red. These are widely used in the process of photosynthesis. So these are regarded as absorption spectrum. In the 7 colors of the light in the visible light spectrum, violet, blue and red is used in the process of photosynthesis, widely used. So these are regarded as the absorption spectrum, while the red one, the red is maximally used for the process of photosynthesis. So it is regarded as action spectrum. It is known as the action spectrum. So in the light there are different radiations of rays, but in that visible light spectrum is being used, where it contains the rainbow colors. In that, violet, blue and red is used for process of photosynthesis. So it is regarded as absorption spectrum, and red is widely used, so it is called as an action spectrum. Then the fourth pigment is pigments. Those are nothing but the chlorophyll. The chlorophyll. Already in the chapter, the cell, the unit of life, we have studied the structure of the chloroplast, where the chlorophyll pigments are embedded in the thylakoid membrane. That detail will be studied in the future classes or in the next classes. So it has the green color pigment. The plants have the green color pigments called as chlorophyll, which traps or absorbs the light energy. And in one of the experimental process called as paper chromatography, with the experiment of paper chromatography, 4 types of chlorophyll pigments are being identified. Those are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophyll, and carotenoids. 4 forms of pigments are being identified in higher plants, which help in the process of photosynthesis. That is chlorophyll A, which is blue-green in color, chlorophyll B, yellow-green in color, xanthophyll, yellow, carotenoids, yellow to orange, red. So in higher plants, the pigment, that is the paper chromatography, have identified 4 types of pigments which are involved in the process of photosynthesis. In that, chlorophyll A is the primary pigment, while these are called as accessory pigments, where in chlorophyll A has the ability to absorb the light energy. It is have the ability of absorbing the light energy and using this light energy for the production of glucose or in the formation of a carbohydrate. This is a primary pigment, while chlorophyll B, xanthophyll and carotenoids are said to be as accessory pigments which help to produce. Thus, with the help of light, they produce the energy packets, that is the photons. It produces the energy in the form of photons, which are said to be as small packets of energy. With that energy, it is able to synthesize the carbohydrates or the glucose. So these are the raw materials of involved in the process of photosynthesis. So it is carbon dioxide which is present in the atmosphere, and the water which is absorbed in the roots, and the light in that, the visible light spectrum, and the wavelength of light that is used is 360 nm to 760. In that, in the rainbow colors, the red is highly used in the process of photosynthesis, and in higher plants 4 different pigments are being identified, while in unicellular or the algae, the other pigments are phycoerythrin and phycocyanin. Even the cyanobacterian chlorophyll also help in the process of photosynthesis. So in today's class, there are 2 questions regarding to this topic in this period of time or this video, that what define photosynthesis. It is for 1 mark. You have to define the process of photosynthesis and write the equation. So it can be asked for 1 mark or it can be asked for 2 marks. So this is the first question in photosynthesis, that is define photosynthesis. Then significance of photosynthesis, that is for 2 marks it can be asked what are the significance of photosynthesis, and again for the 2 marks where you can write a note on the raw materials required for the process of photosynthesis, that can be asked for 2 marks. So in this class there are 2 questions: define photosynthesis, list out the significance of photosynthesis, and write mention the components or the raw materials required for the photosynthesis. In the next class we will start with the chlorophyll components, how chlorophyll pigments help in absorption of light or how they are using the solar energy with the structure of chloroplast, and the early experiments done by the scientists to specify the specific characters of photosynthesis, or what is the contribution of the scientist in the field of photosynthesis. So in the next class we will start with the next units of the topic photosynthesis.